Beardos, weirdos, boss of ghouls, how are you all doing today? I'm looking at the Ouija Brothers. Ooh. So I have seen this clip. I saw it a couple of minutes after it happened live. Basically because my inbox blew up. You need to see what's happening in the Ouija Brothers video. You need to see it. The pram came down the stairs. Colour me interested. I've been to 30 Drive on numerous occasions, and on those numerous occasions, I placed the pram there. There's been 4 visits I've had at 30 Drive, and each time I've been there, the pram or a doll has been placed in this position. Of those visits, only one time has it moved, and it came down those stairs with enough force that the pram seemingly may have lifted because...
In the router, and we can obviously refer back, we can rewind, check anything that we think we might have seen.
And let me know what you think in the comment section down below. You know, when I put this clip in my video, people were like, how is the pram floating in midair like that? Well, these brackets that hold the banister rail up, the handle of the pram actually caught on the top one, which is around this point. So it came off and the handle landed on it. The pram just sort of swung, hanging there midair. People were like, this is incredible. It's like, no, it's not. But the movement, in 4 visits, I'm almost convinced it's 5. I'm going back for 2 nights. In those 4 visits, I have set up numerous trigger objects at the top of these stairs. The pram, more often than not. I didn't see it with my own 2 eyes. It was recorded on CCTV footage while I was driving to the location. But I checked the DVR, I checked all of the cameras in the house, and nobody was near it. People had been walking up and down the stairs all day. It hadn't moved that entire time. Now, for the skeptics, they're going to say it's just gravity. Fair enough. I agree. Just gravity could enable this pram to roll off the edge. However, the last time I went to 30 East Drive, we set the pram at the top of the stairs. We set her as far back as we possibly could. And me and Lee from 3 Spires got the palms of our hands there, sort of the ball of the palm of your hands, and we roughed up the carpet as much as we could. And then we sat the front wheels on the area of carpet that we had roughed up in order to see if it's the carpet laying down or springing back up could propel this pram forward. It's a good few inches away from the edge of the stairs. Now, for me to be happy with this being poltergeist activity, it would need to be there to move and come down the stairs. But it was around this point, and we just want to show that it's not the carpet springing. So Lee wasn't here, so he's got no stake in whether it was real or just a carpet springing. So if I knock this handle, right, so we've got this to the point where it's on the curve of the step, and even with us nothing. Now, earlier on today, we brushed against the carpet and pushed it all over the place, like so. We put the pram pretty much there. And we watched it, and then we knocked it, and all the rest, and nothing. Nothing at all. The video footage that I captured, it sounded like there was a slap on the pram before it moved. And I know that it was not set up by the other people I was working with, because I checked all the CCTV. I was either side of it to make sure there was no shenanigans. In fact, the team that I was working with when they discovered this, somebody walked upstairs to change a battery camera. And they walked past it and didn't even realise that the pram wasn't even on the stair anymore. It was hanging off the banister. It was only when he came down, he gets to the sort of halfway point of the stairs, he stops, looks back, and he's like, has anyone moved the pram? And then, obviously, they check the footage. Very excitable for them. So why is it for 75% of my visits, nothing moves on these stairs? We see hours and hours and hours of footage of this place every week. There are always teams there, 7 days a week, event companies and stuff. And this thing happens quite often. The pram has come down the stairs, but Adelaide Haunted Horizons didn't use the pram one night. They just sat a doll at the top of the stairs, and the doll came down.
There's a doll at the top of the stairs there. She should be in the bedroom. Oh my God. Oh my God. She should be in the bedroom.
Now, was the top of the doll too heavy and eventually over time it just slowly tips forward and rolls down the stairs? Potentially, yeah. It wasn't fake. A lot of people were saying they've run wires here, there and everywhere. And I'm like, well, there's no wire glint. You can't see anything. And to the top of the stairs here, when you look to the left, there's another step. So for somebody to reach over and slap it, their arm would be coming at the downward angle across there. It's a bit longer than arm's length. You'd have your head poking out. You could use a stick and give it a slap, but Alison was there on her own. She was live streaming and recording on 2 mobile phones. One was on a tripod here, one was in her hand. I watched the footage and I was like, I see no signs of fakery, but it could be gravity. Or, maybe it's poltergeist activity. Having met and worked with Alison, she is far too clumsy to set up anything with pulleys and wires and all the rest to get that thing flying down the stairs. The woman can barely walk in a straight line without tripping over her own feet. It's just a fact. She's a very, very lovely lady, but she's also a very, very clumsy lady. So, I watched that video and I'm like, I don't think that's fake, but it could be gravity. And then obviously seeing the pram on CCTV while I'm visiting, I'm like, that's interesting. And I always happened to the Ouija Brothers. This is courtesy of the Paranormal Monkey podcast. He's screen captured this and put it on to Facebook. So let's have a look, shall we? We play in real time, and then I'll go back and play it in slower motion things. 480p because it's off footage that's been downloaded and compressed and then re-uploaded. I can't do anything about that. No doubt the Ouija Brothers will have better footage when they get home, when they take it off the memory cards, put it onto the PC, and we'll get a better look at it. But just for now, just to see what everybody saw live, let's take a look. And when that moves, people are going to say, what about all of this sort of pulsing and artifacting on the wall there? It is just that. It is pulsing and artifacting of the camera in night vision. If you watch the live stream for hours and hours and hours, like some people did, I did, then you'll see that artifacting constantly throughout the video. In fact, if you were going to mask something in, that artifacting would probably give it away because you'd see a straight line. So that rules out masking on this side. Now, could they have masked something this side? If this wasn't a live video, yes, but it was a live video. This bedroom is what, if you were stood at where that pram is, facing this direction, that's what you'd be looking into. You'd be looking into Philip's room. Pretty cool, but is it just gravity? Now, when I watched this on a live playback, it sounded like something hit the pram and then the pram started to move. But when you play it back without excitement, because potentially something poltergeisty has happened, the noise isn't the pram getting hit, it's the pram already on its trajectory. So there's no noise before the pram starts moving, and it kind of creeps forward a little bit, and then obviously gravity does the rest. But what's causing it to creep forward? Because when I was there is a slight lip in the carpet on an upward trajectory. Now, I've always set the wheels behind that. Now, obviously, I wasn't there. I can't tell exactly where they placed this in relation to the curve of the end of the step, but I would assume, being the people that the Ouija Brothers are, it was set a little bit further back than the average person, because I have seen people balance it right on the tip of the step. Incidentally, me and Lee, when the pram hadn't moved for a while, we'd roughed all the carpet up and set, etc. We even put it borderline on the point of tipping over, and we left it there overnight and until 12 p.m. the next afternoon, and that thing still didn't move. Now, in that time, we heard buses, lorries, school buses and traffic coming around the roundabout, which is to the right of the house as we're looking at this image. Our right, as we're looking at it, there's a roundabout out there at the end of the garden. Could buses or lorries be coming around, hitting like a drain lid, and that vibration is enough to dislodge this thing? Not when I've been there. I'm not saying that that's not happening, but in my experience, me and Lee were jumping on the stairs, we were nudging the back of it to see how much force it would take for us to get the pram to move. You can see all of this on my last 30s drive video. I will link that in the description below. But we couldn't get this thing to move. Couldn't get this pram to move. We tried. It was not, tried to get it moved to make a cool video. It was see if we can trigger this thing to move, to work out how the hell it's doing it. And we couldn't do it. It is a little strange. So let's take this footage back. I don't know how to use Facebook videos. Oh, playback speed, there we go. Let's go to 0.5. I'm going to mute it because it's going to sound awful with like the hiss of the video and then the sound of the pram crashing down the stairs. Now, all that weird artifact and stuff around the pram, that is just night vision, something moving at speed down the stairs. Not a lot you can do about it, and the fact that this is heavily compressed, downloaded and re-uploaded. Okay, so I'm going to put the sound back on now and see if we hear some sort of large thud or a large vehicle sort of rumbling past. Now, there are people already saying that this is fake and there's something through the letterbox and up the stairs and they've pulled it. That letterbox is sealed. People are putting wires through there and pulling things, or Carol is posting things through the letterbox and knocking cameras and stuff. There is no letterbox. It has been completely sealed up. There is no access at all. I've looked. Because while I want things like this to be real, at the same point, I'm not doing my job properly if I don't look for signs of fakery, tampering, or natural causes. Right, so the sound is on. Let's see if we can hear a vehicle or something that could set this on its trajectory. Let's go back to the beginning of the clip. This is going to sound horrible, but let's see if we can hear, a rumble of an engine or a bang of a drain lid or something before this thing starts moving. No. Now, the bang I heard live, my brain was like, oh my god, it sounds like something has slapped the pram and then it's gone. The pram moves before that sound. That sound is the pram hitting the step. Now, obviously, you can see the tripwire is moving there. That's because the pram and the doll have hit it. Right, I'm going to use my monitor a second, just so I can stretch this image out. Right, let me zoom this image right in. And let's see if there's any telltale signs. So first I'll play it, and then I'm going to drag the play header back and forth. So the pram is definitely moving before the sound, meaning it's rolled, and then the bang that we all heard that some people thought was like the sound of it being walloped is just the pram or the doll hitting something on its trajectory. But I can see nothing in there that would suggest somebody has moved anything. Zoom it right in. Okay, so whilst it was coming down the stairs there, I've looked, can't see anything attached to it, as in a wire glint or anything like that. The footage isn't great, obviously, because of the compression I've already discussed. So we can rule out, for the most part, a hoax, because this camera is recording live and in sync at the same time. Now, you've got this door, and then directly opposite you is the banister, and then the stairs where this pram is situated. Now, could somebody have been left in the house, laying at the top of the stairs, on the landing, with a stick, angled it down and hit one of the back wheels in order to cause this to fall down? Yes, they could. In a regular video, they could. Absolutely. In a live stream, and this is hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, while these guys are live and not in the house, this person didn't fart, burp, cough, or breathe. You could hear voices earlier on in the video, but I know exactly what those voices are and the bangs were. It's Carol's house, because this camera, we're looking that way, behind us, directly behind us, is Carol's house. And you can hear a lot of noises from Carol's house from that direction. But at this point, this pram had been there for, well over 24 hours. Why isn't it rolled earlier in the day when the traffic was busier outside? Why this late? Why when there's nobody in the house? Could it be the carpet or even the stair boards have reset after Griff and Steve, who are both large men, both very tall men? They've been up and down the stairs, they've been moving around the house. Could, after they've left this house, it's obviously dark, so the house is possibly cooling, the boys have left, floorboards are retracting, could that have set this on its way? Yes, it could have. However, when me and 3 spires were there, we set this pram up, we roughed up the carpet, we were jumping up and down on the step, we turned the heating off to cool the house. Not specifically for the pram, but for knocks and bangs, to see what we could hear, what we could debunk, and then whatever was left over could be something very cool. And this didn't happen. Now, I am not going to sit here and tell you this is poltergeist activity 100% at 30 East Drive. The footage isn't clear enough for me. It's been compressed too much. No, this was live streamed and then screen recorded, downloaded, uploaded. It's been butchered. However, the Ouija Brothers will have this on a memory card, so they will have the raw footage, and we will get an uploaded, much better quality look at this. And I'm hoping to cover it. Are there any signs of fakery involved in this? No. Now, whilst people will say, hey, but you said you're biased to the Ouija Brothers. I am. I'm very biased towards them because they are my friends. However, if I thought my friends were faking paranormal activity at one of my favourite locations, I'm going to call that shit out because it's a betrayal of my trust. They'd call me out if I did some shady shit at a location, trust me. I'm not here to convince you of that, that's just my opinion of them. I know them well. So it's not fakery. There are many natural things that could cause that, but I couldn't recreate them, but only on one visit out of 4. I never tried to debunk this on my previous 3 visits, or not as in depth as when me and Lee went there. And in our video to 30 East Drive, you'll see me roughing up the carpet, getting my heel in there, and the stuff that was stuck to my hand after nearly made me want to vomit. You'll see that section of the video is a couple of minutes. In reality, that was close to an hour. Close to an hour. We were like, we've got to work out how this pram is going. And we could not recreate it. And despite everything we did, trying to get the temperatures to fluctuate, opening and closing doors and windows and roughing up the carpet, jumping up and down on the stairs, there's 4 of us, quite heavy people, up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs. This thing didn't move the entire time we were there. It's probably something natural, but it's very intermittent. So why am I excited about things like this? Why am I like, this could be something cool? Well, look at the history of 30 East Drive. It was reportedly the most violent poltergeist in the UK or Europe. There are more claims at this house from paranormal teams than anywhere else. Mostly because it's constantly visited. And there are people that go there and fake things. There are people that go there and stage things. I mean, even Carol, used a different name and was throwing coins about in there. And, there's a second person caught on camera when she's in there on her own. But she stated that's a parody. I don't believe that. But she's not in the house now. And Carol is not a well woman. I don't think she's got the time to try and sneak past 2 static cameras, attach a wire or a stick to something, wallop it, and then Spider-Man away back out of the house through the windows. Because the top of those stairs, that's the opposite side of Carol's house. Philip's room is the furthest point away from Carol's house that you can be. So, and it's the most active room. Other people I trust have gone there and had fantastic experiences. I mean, Justin, the Paranormal Monkey podcast, a very, very skeptical man, has had experiences there that he can't explain, and he will just laugh and say, I think the only paranormal thing I've ever experienced was at 30 East Drive, a place he described as a rip-off, a con, and a joke. And then he went there and experienced something. I'm going to be working with Justin at 30 East Drive this month. I'm going back with 3 Spires. Justin is going to join us. James from Staffordshire Paranormal is going to join us at some point. And then Real Evidence are going to join us at some point. Not all at the same time. And we will be giving people time to be in the house on their own and all the rest of it. But for the most part, I think me and Lee are going to do what the Ouija Brothers did. And just eat and watch TV and just do regular things and ignore the house and ignore calling out. And see if we can experience something like this. Because of the people that I believe that have experienced things at this house, it seems more often than not the house does things when you ignore it. So, is it natural? Possibly. Is it fake? Not in my opinion. Is it poltergeist activity? It could be. The house is famous for poltergeist activity. And famously, the most violent thing that ever happened in this house involved this stairs and a person being dragged up them. And I'm not talking about that idiot Carl Beatty. That was fake as shit. I'm talking about the little girl who reported it. We have no proof of that. There was no video evidence of that. It is just her witness testimony. There are people saying, they were just trying to get out of this council house into a better council house. I see all of those arguments. But what if? What if what she experienced was real? And why is it that so many people have experiences on these stairs? For example, Dean that used to work with me. Dean thought he saw somebody walking at the top of these stairs, and I dismissed it because there's a high EMF reading at the top of those stairs. I've since learned that high EMF doesn't cause hallucinations as many people seem to believe. So, no, I can't prove this is poltergeist activity. I can't prove 100% that it's not fake or staged. I can't prove that it's something natural. More logically, it's something natural. There's that element of this house is reportedly haunted. And things like this happen, but not every day. So do please let me know your thoughts on the comment section down below. Is this poltergeist activity? Is this something completely natural? Or do you think, or have you seen something that would elude you that would make you think that this is staged or fake? I am not in the fake camp whatsoever. I'm more into the probably something quite normal, but it's too intermittent for my liking. Could this possibly be something paranormal? And is there really something going on at 30 East Drive? Because this is the only place where I keep seeing some really cool things that I can't explain. I have experienced cool things there that I can't explain. The sounds when me and my crew were sleeping. It sounded like somebody throwing furniture around in the room I'm sleeping in. It sounds like somebody's moving the drawer handles in the room. It woke me up and I'm filming it like I just heard something. And I remember that visit distinctly as me the next day being like, this house is too quiet. I got woke up last night, but I don't think it was anything. Probably going to be my last visit. And then when I go home and I'm playing the audio files back, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in that house? How bizarre. Was any of that paranormal? I don't know. But this house is weird. It has weird stuff. Griff chest compression. The live stream that Justin from the Paranormal Monkey podcast did with him and a few other people that I've seen in so many videos. People that I believe. People that are only after the truth, that don't stage, don't fake, and very skeptical. When you see those 4 people on a panel on the Paranormal Monkey podcast and they're all saying there's something up with 30 East Drive, and most of them thought it was a con and a rip-off. They've got nothing to gain from lying about it and not bringing out videos in years about it. Just fascinates me, 30 East Drive. It probably always will. Yes, it's a long drive for me. Yes, it's relatively expensive. But when you compare it to other places, it ain't that bad, really. Yes, Carol next door. Yes, the neighbours and all the rest of it. But that is down to the team. The team is supposed to call out, that's next door. Like when we had kids giggling, when me, Dean and Lee were there. And we were like, the hell was that? I go upstairs to Emma's room, I open the window, and Carol has got her granddaughters round in the next room. That's what we were hearing giggling. They had the window open. It was a hot summer's day. It's down to the paranormal teams to debunk while they're there, which is what I do, the Ouija Brothers do. Any of the guys I trust that have been to 30 East Drive, they debunk as they go in. But this just fascinates me even more. I don't believe the Ouija Brothers would stage something like this. They were not in the house. This live stream was hours and hours and hours long. The guys weren't even investigating. They'd been playing Texas Chainsaw. They'd been eating, sitting around reading chat on a live stream as opposed to investigating. Is the poltergeist activity at 30 East Drive real? I'll leave that up to you. I think it might be. Much love to you all. Beardo out.